I have in the past covered a number of incredible ancient discoveries made within and around the American state of Utah, a now lost yet once global super-civilization, clearly once active within the state. Yet what if one were to discover the remains of something so enormous and ancient, something once constructed from seemingly modern, or at the very least incredibly difficult to source materials? A vast prehistoric ruin far predating the Native American, and of a shape undeniable as that of an ancient global superstructure. Would it force a complete rewriting of human history? Or would it, like so many other unexplainable and on occasion resource-rich anomalies, be ignored, reburied, or worse, looted, stripped, and destroyed? Our journey begins with a small and seemingly insignificant discovery of apparently man-made caves and tunnel systems found by the very first pioneers within Salt Lake City itself, now known as the Black Rock Caves. According to David Madson's 1982 study from the research paper titled Curry and James, 1982, one chamber has a vaulted ceiling, with Black Rock Cave itself being a remarkable 315-foot perfectly rectangle corridor. Quote, "Whatever its origin, the cave was covered by lake waters from about 19 to 20,000 years ago to sometime between 13 to 15,000 years ago. As more and more caverns were discovered and their alignments and directions established, however, a remarkable and at the time simply unbelievable possibility started to present itself to the team. The entire underground network surrounding the lake was established to have not only once been completely man-made, but aligned with a very familiar pattern, one found in other parts of the world, in particular, beneath none other than that of the Giza Plateau. In 1937, archaeologists would then explore Great Basin caves, with Julian Stewart thoroughly cataloging the remains and tools for none other than the Smithsonian. In Black Rock Cave, he would also identify a stratum of remains under what was supposed to be the first peoples under Lake Bonneville, even under that of the Ice Age. Although it is claimed that his team was not equipped, nor was any other. He states, quote, "Traces of human occupation were noted below a depth of 2 feet. Further excavation of the lower strata in search of artifacts which would characterize the cultures of the earlier occupation was deemed inadvisable, as a large crew would have required many months properly to clear the entire cave down to bedrock or to lake deposits. Attention was therefore devoted to the upper 2 feet. Julian Stewart, 1937. Thus now, not only did we have tunnel systems aligning with the possible existence of ancient pyramids, but the involvement of the Smithsonian, and even the rumors of an ancient civilization predating the earliest accepted man. And then, as one would expect, these explorations would inexplicably grind to a halt. However, although this is usually where our story would end, if the claims true, these structures so massive, they should in all reality still exist, or at the very least, we should have significant evidence still in existence to be able to prove and indeed establish their past location. Astonishingly, it would seem that the evidence herein would indeed suggest that not only did an enormous pyramid once sit upon the Great Salt Lake, sitting proudly above and perfectly aligned to these still existing underworlds, but that the entire structure, once of such a controversial nature, it was decidedly stripped of its resources and completely disassembled. Once estimated to have stood over 6.5 times that of Cheops itself, many independent researchers have also arrived at the incredible conclusion that due to it, once having been made entirely of solid copper block megaliths, was not only an earlier form of what we now see in Egypt, still standing in sandstone, that being an enormous energy generator, some postulating for the harvesting of lightning, but that it was destroyed and hidden from history for this very reason. With the land eventually sold to a government contractor, whom quickly made it out of bounds to any exploration. With the process of destroying the structure initially turned into what we now know of as Bingham Canyon Mine, with the quote, mountain indeed being noted in the plans as having been somehow made entirely from enormous uniformly sized and arranged solid copper blocks, with the smokestack of the mine itself even noted as having been suspiciously positioned on this ancient floor plan, perfectly lining up with the position of Washington Monument, a tip of the hat, or possibly rather an admittance of guilt. One has to ask, if such a discovery made today, would one not be interested in finding out what such a structure could be before destroying it? Perhaps they did know, and this the entire reason for the mine itself. Perhaps it wasn't a mine, but a quarry, one tasked with covering up the true grandeur of our human civilization's past. Why was the structure made from copper, if not for the purpose of energy generation? Perhaps the fact that it once constructed somehow from solid copper too obvious a clue to our real history. If indeed made of copper, as long claimed, and also photographed, it would expose ancient man's true past capabilities once and for all. I will indeed endeavor to look into these astonishing claims further, and I will of course keep you posted. It is a discovery and indeed possible cover-up, which I find highly compelling.
With the controversy heating up and debates currently ongoing surrounding the new purported discovery beneath the Great Pyramid of Khufu, and indeed the implications such discoveries will have on our overall understandings of not only ancient Egyptian history, but the Earth's history as a whole, I thought I would share another hypothesis for one to consider. One surrounding another mysterious discovery once made in and around the surrounding area. Located within the Temple of Hathor within modern-day Dendera, it has been a subject of contention for many decades, for within lay a series of reliefs displaying a particularly strange object, and one also unique to just that of the Temple of Hathor, as if depicting not a symbol, but a discovery. Furthermore, and perhaps connected to this past artifact, strange, seemingly melted stone steps can be found located nearby inside the temple, which, due to appearing to have once somehow melted, is a feature and an area of equal, if not more disagreement than the item of tonight's video in regards to what could have been the cause for this long-attested so-called optical illusion. Known as the Dendera Light, it is a depiction of an apparent statue, not an object, but a statue, which once stood within the temple itself. Yet this life-sized example, indeed this 3D recreation of just what this mysterious object looked like in the flesh, has conveniently vanished over the subsequent centuries, which, according to scholars, was due to it having once been made completely out of precious metals. Clearly, once a piece or indeed possible artifact of unquestionable past importance, ancient alien advocates have put forward the claim that the image depicts that of ancient Antiquitech, advanced technologies such as the gift of electricity, once given to humanity by extraterrestrial beings whom they looked upon as gods. Technology, which due to its dangerous characteristics and their primitive understanding of such, is depicted using symbolic methodology. The biting cobra representing the dangerous electrical force. Also, it is depicted as having been surrounded by some form of clear material, which could have indeed been glass. Although unless one takes into account ancient examples such as that of the Beth Sherim slab I have shared previously, how this material came about or how it was once manufactured remains a complete mystery, with the base of the light also constructed to depict that of a lotus flower. The most popularly accepted modern technology most similar to the Dendera bulb being that of a Crookes tube, with the lotus a socket, with a cable traveling underneath, with the snake the cord or filament inside. However, academics are quick to dismiss these claims with their own interpretations of what this mysterious image depicts, indeed, also supported by a translation of the attached hieroglyphs. The image, they claim, in fact, shows that of a creation ritual or ceremony, with the object instead said to be a depiction of that of Harsamtus or Ra and He, who are upon the mythical solar bark, the vessel which the sun Ra used to travel the heavens. with each character doing their part to make the object function, setting the forces free upon the earth and heavens. Indeed, the flower and snake could logically be interpreted as that of a creation story. But as always, I have another theory, a far more profound yet controversial reality, one I would like to present to you now. A possible past function that, due to the absence of the supposed 3D depiction, hidden or rather stolen, even from the view of modern archaeologists, a function now lost even unto those who made these magnificent ancient hieroglyphic artworks. Individuals whom I have long claimed merely re-inhabited these tremendous, once almost too perfectly executed structures. Could these interpretations, not only made by the translators of these ancient hieroglyphs, but indeed by the ancient Egyptians themselves, be inaccurate? For if the theory true, they merely rediscovered these places and perhaps a lost technology, an object of tremendous power, an electrical device which, if indeed discovered at the time of the ancient Egyptians' re-inhabitation, would indeed be depicted as it is, with a power, if touched, that would bite like a cobra, one found intact and still housed within its mysterious container. Once unraveled, utilized and demonstrated as working by the Egyptians themselves, again claimed as their creation, yet kept secret from the wider world. Perhaps the so-called statue they claim simply disappeared due to having been made from, quote, precious metals, was the actual device itself. Perhaps the power or heat this machine generated, once responsible for the stairs within the temple, now appearing to have once somehow been melted. It would fit, and it would indeed reinforce the theory that these hieroglyphs, not the tale of the true Egypt. Notably, absent any details or descriptions in any form anywhere pertaining to the mammoth undertaking or ingenious methods required and developed to have once indeed built these monstrous constructions. Instead, I claim they mere graffiti, another story and accomplishment of our past hijacked, a forged legacy commissioned by its future owners in an attempt to fully claim such structures and the feats they would have once been as their own. This long-attested tale swallowed and peddled worldwide, with many an individual making a name, a career, and even a fortune out of said tale. This regardless of lacking any knowledge or any provable evidence that they built these places, never having been publicly presented by any funded Egyptologist, ever. None have ever been able to produce a single shred of evidence, not one iota, demonstrating their claims. Regardless of mountains of funding they have received, it is merely a cover-up of our true history, and they have sold their souls in favor of peddling a lie still lacking even rudimentary circumstantial evidence, settling for the preposterous copper chisel theory. This lie rests solely upon the illusion of their authority, one bestowed upon them by the very keepers of this secret. It is crucial one realize and accept this truth if we are ever to truly unravel our past and expose the lies which have grown around it out of profitary greed. Perhaps the entire plateau was indeed once a giant energy-generating system, a secret and a series of artifacts which have been meticulously hidden and stolen as they have been systematically found and deciphered over the ages, with the lie which started with the Egyptians the favored tale for academia to push upon the world, one in favor of hiding the truly profound real history of our Earth and human civilization, with the anomaly beneath Khufu perhaps just too big to hide. Perhaps this the tipping point in proving that many theories long banished to the dusty categories of pseudoscience true, with those brave enough to express them long mocked, finally receiving this long overdue vindication. It is a theory, indeed a possible reality we are yet to discover, which I will forever find highly compelling.